Within Chicano Latino studies, there's a frequently referenced concept called Nepantla, a word derived from classic Nahuatl, a language spoken by the indigenous Aztec people of central Mexico. While Nepantla was initially used to describe geographical positioning of someone or something, it has been transformed to describe a positioning of the self. More specifically, the confusion and clash of existing in a state of in-betweenness, of opposing identities and cultural borders, or fronteras. This has made Nepantla a concept rooted solely on survival, rather than embracing how this tension could expand our ability for effective intercultural communication. I have lived in this version of Nepantla my whole life. This straddling of cultures pervaded by a politically and culturally hostile frontera has created a cultural clash that has endangered my connection with my ancestry and cultural identity. Traveling to Korea would amplify this feeling of Nepantla and its influence on my culture. I would be immersed in a culture far different from the Mexican-American cultural blend that have existed between my whole life. These past few months, I've been living in a Nepantla much different from before. Instead of being one of grappling and confusion, it has been one of tension, familiarity, and understanding. Upon my arrival, I understood my lack of cultural context and the lack of connection that would result. I observed and grappled with what was missing and didn't immediately realize the similarities that were there. Instead, this connection with Korean culture occurred subconsciously through finding familiarity throughout everyday life. There was something comforting about ordering Mexican food in Korean, experiencing the flavors in a country thousands of miles away from its culinary homeland. Although the taste isn't all the same, it still manages to remind me of home. Or walking through the busy streets of Myeongdong, watching street food vendors making traditional Korean street food, reflecting the women in the tianguis selling churros or aguas frescas in Mexico. Going clubbing in Hongdae on the weekends, only staying at the Latin clubs to meet other Latinos and people from all over the world who share the love for Latin music and dance, speaking Spanish to people over the loud reggaeton beats. Having meals with friends, sharing stories or testimonios of our individual struggles while abroad, understanding that you aren't alone. And walking through the cramped neighborhoods lined with colorful homes, seeing ajamas feeding the stray cats that roam the neighborhood, placing me in my rancho in Zacatecas. Ultimately, it was these little things that eased the tension inside of me, redefining my relationship with Nepantla. What I did not realize was that existing and interacting in this Nepantla multiple cultures and identities, they would eventually blur together. Removed from the center of my learned culture and being plunged into a new one, I no longer saw the world the way I was enculturated to see it. Towards the end of my time here, I realized that everyone has their own version of Nepantla, one consisting of many ethnic, cultural, and linguistic fronteras. It is the ways in which we confront them that determines their effect on our relationship with tension. No matter how uncomfortable it may be, it is vital that we not abandon Nepantla, but instead embrace it,